Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to another Astro Weather Report, and I'm so excited to share with you what is happening in the skies in the next little while through this video. Thanks for joining me. Thanks also to all the beautiful people who contacted me and warmed my heart by saying how much they missed my videos over the last couple of weeks. I have been really busy doing a course and a few other things have come up. So I really appreciate hearing that because I love preparing videos and I'm so glad that they're warmly received. Thank you, everybody. But this week I feel very much called to talk about Mars. What Mars is doing in the sky and the energy that is playing out through Mars's current configuration with other planets. So that's what we're going to be looking at this week. I am going to be talking about the effects of Mars in Cancer. Here he is down here in the sign of Cancer. I'm going to be talking about the effects of Mars, and I'm also going to be talking about the remedies for the stress that this Mars energy is causing. And I'm going to do this in the beginning of this video, and then I'm going to go through the effects in all signs. So stick around through the intro bit if you want to know the remedies for how to deal with particular stresses that Mars will bring in your life, which I'll talk about later in the video. So that's how I'm going to work with this. Make sure you listen out for the remedies. They're the solution. They're the release valve that we all need to know. And it'll get you through this time, which is actually quite a tough time. This June, generally speaking, for most people, it can be very transformative time, can be very impactful depending on where all the energies are falling in your chart, which we'll talk about a little later. But we are experiencing a pretty hefty energy, and this has been the case since Mars moved into Cancer down here around the 17th of May. That's when Mars moved into the sign of Cancer. And of course, since that time, he has been in the same sign as the North Node and opposing, I'll use my little pointer, and opposing Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node. So the whole time he's in Cancer, we're getting an activation to the opposite house, which is Cancer, where all this hefty energy I've been talking about for a few months now is playing out. But I really wanted to focus this week on an energy that's playing out at the end of next week. We're looking at the 13th and the 14th of June, and this energy has been building ever since Mars moved into Cancer on the 17th of May. The energy has been building towards this point on the 13th and 14th of June. And as we get closer to that point, which is obviously happening over the next week and a half, as we get closer and closer to that point, we will feel the energy impact increasing more and more and more. And I'll talk about what that energy will look like shortly. But we are going to have, these 2 days are, in my opinion, going to be the most intense days of 2019. So this is why I feel I've been called to talk about this and to sort of be talking about it a week and a half out. I want everyone to be prepared. I want everyone to be able to activate the remedies that they need to do, or do the work they need to do to flow with this energy, to utilize the highest level of this energy that they can in order to make it work for them and bring them blessing rather than bring them stress and craziness. So on the 13th and 14th of June, we are going to have Mars at an exact conjunction with the North Node at the same time as opposing these energies here, South Node, Saturn, and Pluto. Now they're not, Saturn, South Node, and Pluto are not all at the same degree, but they're all in proximity of one another within very close orb, and the actual conjunction is occurring with the nodes. So Mars is going to connect with the North Node, which is exactly opposite the South Node. We've got Pluto here around, I think it's 21 degrees, and Saturn at the latter teen degrees, 18 or 19 degrees, I think. So they're all really tight, really close, and these nodes are at 17 degrees. So, ooh, it's tight, you'll feel it. And it's going to be felt across the world. It'll be felt in mundane astrology, which is global events. We will see global events unfold from this energy. but we will also feel it personally, and it's the personal astrology that I want to talk about now. I don't consider myself to be a mundane astrologer, but I like to look at how the energies play out in individuals according to the charts. So like I said, this is the most intense couple of days. How can we prepare for this? Well, firstly, let me tell you about Mars in the sign of Cancer. When Mars is in Cancer, Mars is not in good dignity in Cancer, just according to ancient astrology dignities. But this is not. This is because Mars is go-getter, volatile. Yes, I'm a warrior, and Cancer is very gentle, very flowing. It's like a bit like oil and water, the mix. So that's some of the energy that we can be feeling right now. Like I'm not quite in alignment with my emotions. Cancer is representative of our emotional life, our connection to family and mother and home. And you might feel a little bit out of alignment, out of kilter, because Mars is like, let's just do it, let's get on with things, and it might just feel a bit not quite comfortable. Mars on the positive side in Cancer can instigate a lot of thinking around renovations to the home and using tools around the home. Mars is tools, Mars is connected to real estate, and so you might be thinking about some sort of real estate development because Cancer is the home. You might be looking at extending your home or renovating your home or selling your home. Mars is real estate, Cancer is the home. So that's one of the lighter energies, if you like, that can come out of this time. But when we're looking at this rather volatile connection, I might draw that on there for people so they can see what I'm meaning. Whoop. An opposition there. So when that is happening, we can tend to let off emotional anger. Remember, Mars rules anger and frustration, and when he's in Cancer, we can sometimes tend to take out our anger, our frustration, our emotional angst with our loved ones, even if they have had nothing to do with what's triggered the anger. Like we go to work, the boss is really shitty to us, we come home and we just have a big rant at our teenage son who happens to have left his jumper in the hallway, and we just go off about nothing. That's what can sometimes happen with Mars in Cancer. We take our angry energy, our frustrated energy out on the people who we love the most. So even if it's undeserved. So I want everyone, especially while Mars is in Cancer, but also around the 13th and 14th, be very conscious of this. Be careful and you know, love your family, hug them lots, and rein in that desire that you might have to absolutely lose it with your family and your loved ones, your parents, your children, your partner, those that you care about deeply. Watch out for how your interactions with them play out, that you're not misplacing the energy of angry emotion. Mars is anger, Cancer is emotion, and dishing it out to the people who don't deserve to have it dished out to them. We can also, when Mars is in Cancer, we can experience a fear of the unknown, and especially around the 13th and 14th, this will probably be quite strong because of the connection by close orb of Saturn, which rules fears, opposing Cancer, which is the unknown, and Mars will be activating more of that energy. Because Mars in Cancer can indicate a fear of the unknown. And for example, I'll tell you a little story from my chart that illustrates this. The day that Mars moved into Cancer here, back on the 17th of May, I started to freak out about my upcoming trip to the astrology conference Lada is hosting in Bulgaria, because I happened to look at my chart, as we do as astrologers, and I could just see not very nice things happening there. I'm going through heavy Pluto transits to my moon. There was a lot of activation, and I'm flying 2 days after this conjunction. And I started to absolutely freak out about, oh my God, what am I doing? Why didn't I check these planets before I booked my flight, and blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of fear of the unknown for me. A lot of, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And it really got a punch in the guts around the time, it's a funny expression, around the time that Mars moved into the sign of Cancer on the 17th of May. It's calmed down now. I've actually looked at my chart in greater depth and can see everything's going to be okay. And whatever happens is, you know, whatever happens. I'm quite happy for the universe to allow things to unfold in whatever way it sees fit. So bring it on, whatever. But it was a fear that was activated when Mars moved into Cancer. You might even like to look back at your own life and what were you feeling around the 17th of May? Were you freaking out about something that was unknown and in the future, something that you couldn't quite grip or grasp or understand, and you started to panic a bit about it? That's just the energy of Mars in Cancer. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see how this trip goes. Hopefully it's all okay. But in Cancer, when we get upset, when we get frustrated, when we get angry, one of the solutions that we can employ is to actually have a right royal cry. And that is the energy of Cancer. Cancer is connected to crying. So if around this time, in fact, if around the whole transit of Mars through Cancer, you feel upset, you feel angry, you feel, you know, even if you feel like the really heavy energy of Mars, feel violated, feel abused, feel, because Pluto's making an opposition and Pluto is abuse. If you feel violated, if you feel like you're getting abused or victimized or anything like that, then having a big cry is a release, a pressure valve release. So jump in the shower, let the water run over you, and have that big weep. Sometimes I go walking around a nearby reservoir where I live when I'm feeling really heavy, and I'll sort of have a few little tears as I go walking by water. So any type of water energy, you know, if you have a cry, crying is cathartic, or walking by water is going to be very helpful. And if you feel like you need to cry at any time in the next 2 weeks, especially on the 13th and the 14th, do so. Please do so, because the energy needs to be released. The more we bottle up, the more we deny ourselves energetic release of our emotions. Cancer is emotions. Mars is physical displays of, you know, physical energy. So crying, having a weep, having a wail needs to come out of your body. If you keep it suppressed, it's not healthy for you. So you can get frustrated and feel like you're doing all the giving. This is the nurturing energy. This is the giving energy. This is Cancer. And you feel like you're doing all the giving, all the, you know, I sometimes feel like this in my family where, you know, as a single mom especially, we are cleaning up after everyone, picking up after everyone, cooking meals for everybody all the time that never get eaten, and you end up throwing half of them out. But you know what it's like. You are giving, 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 giving. And when do you receive? When does that come back to you? Mars in Cancer can make us really notice the lack of receiving. You know, the over giving, if you like, or maybe not even over giving, just the fact that you have to give, 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 and you're not getting an equal reception of nurturance in your life. And this can be very frustrating and very debilitating. So what you need to do is have a trip to Bulgaria where it's all about you for 3 weeks. So bring it on. But when you feel exhausted, when you feel depleted by this energy of giving and feeling like you just don't receive back equivalent to what you put out, then you must seek out nurturance at this time. Go and find support from, you know, hopefully you've got some resources in place to get some support, to get what you need to help you through this time. So that could mean you call your bestie and you go have a coffee down the street and you just spill your guts. You know, you talk it out, you let go of all the frustration. I just keep making these meals for my kids and they don't eat them, and then I waste all that money and all that time, and la 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 la. You just let it out. And that's one way to deal with it. You could give you know, maybe if you live in London and your closest, dearest friend lives in Abu Dhabi. So you give them a call, you ring them and you say, oh my God, you know, this is what's going on. You need support, you need nurturance, you need to be heard. So take action to do that. So connect, you know, by phone call, in person, or go and see a counselor. The energy of Cancer is quite connected to the nurturance that we receive from counseling. In fact, water energy in general is geared that way. Most water energies have a correlation to counselors and in some cases doing therapy through a psychologist and that sort of thing. So it's actually really helpful to do that at this time if you feel you need to, and if you don't have resources available to you such as friends, or people aren't just a phone call away, or they're not like a Skype message away, you know, seek out support and nurturance and in whatever ways you can. You need to release that valve, open up and let it out, the valve of I am frustrated by all the giving that I do in life. It's not that like I don't like giving, I do, but it just gets too much sometimes, and that's a very common, acceptable thing to feel. We need to find support and nurturance when we feel that way. Maybe getting an astro reading from one of the readers on Astrolada, or myself, if you want nurturance or guidance or support that way. Now, so that is the energy that we experience that can be challenging for us when we've got Mars transiting through Cancer, and also Mars in Cancer in the natal chart would have those effects from time to time as well, especially when Mars in your natal chart in Cancer might be getting triggered by a transiting planet going across. You might feel those energies more strongly than ever. But what else is happening in the sky on the 13th and 14th, and as I said in the lead up to the 13th and 14th, is that we have an aspect from Saturn to Mars. Now when Saturn aspects Mars in the chart, there is an energy of discipline upon our lives, and we can feel very, like maybe over disciplined, and we feel our Mars enthusiasm, our energy, our vigor can feel blocked, can feel restricted, can feel, you know what it's like when you're going through your teenage years and you want that independence, Mars's independence, you want your self-identity, and yet you're still under your parents' control, and they block you, they restrict you from doing anything, you know, for your own good, often anything too crazy or anything, you know, and you're getting that squashed down. No, hold back, wait on, you're not ready for that yet. And it's like, come on, I'm so ready for this, I'm so ready to be independent, I'm so ready to be free. Mars energy is meeting the parent. You know, Mars is youthfulness and vigor and energy and enthusiasm, and here's the old granddaddy of the sky saying, no, you just wait on there, hold on, it's not time yet. And so there's this feeling of restriction, this feeling of blockage that occurs, and this is going to happen. You may want to take some sort of action in your life. You just want to get out there and do stuff and make it happen, but you're being stopped from doing so. Now this stopping can come from externally around you. It might come from an authority figure, it might come from even say a boss, it might come from a partner, it might even come from your children. They're kind of restricting your ability to go out and do something because of your responsibilities, your duties, the maturity that you have to express with Saturn. It's restricting your ability to get out there and be free and do your own thing. And so you might want to take action, but there is something stopping you at this time, and it can be coming from externally around you, and it can also be coming from internally. Internally, you might have some sort of blockage. Like it might be a fear. Saturn rules fears. You know, I'd really love to do this. I'd love to pack my bags and fly away to Tasmania just for a weekend by myself. And there's a fear in you, no, I'm afraid. If I do that, then who's going to take care of my garden at home if I take that weekend away? Who's going to, you make up all sorts of excuses that stop you from going and doing what you want to do, because deep down within you, you're afraid. So look within you for fears that might be restricting and blocking you moving forward. So at this time, basically, you're going to want to take some action. You're going to want to get enthusiastic about something, but there's going to be a blocking energy, a restrictive energy coming from within you or coming from outside of you that might be present with Saturn opposing Mars. Also, we've got Pluto opposing Mars. So we can feel like we have no control in a situation. Last night, my son and I, we watched, and my daughter actually, we all watched Castaway with Tom Hanks on Netflix. And this is very much the energy of Pluto Mars. Feeling like we have no control in a situation. There's a scene, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the film, where he tests out hanging himself. Sounds really morbid, but tests out hanging himself because he's so desperate to escape his situation of being cast away on an island. And the test doesn't work, and he realizes that he even has no control over whether he lives or dies on the island. And so this is the feeling of Pluto opposition to Mars. We feel like we have no control over anything in our life, or we feel like we experience someone in our lives, in our circle, in our environment, being out of control with us, towards us, or around us. And that feels like we can't input to that. We have no control in that situation. This person is out of control in our sphere, in our circle, in our life. So either A, we feel out of control ourselves, like we cannot control the events of our life. Someone in our life is out of control, or worst case scenario, we get out of control and we lose it, and we can't rein in our passion and our frustrations. Now, this is why we often see in a natal chart, if Pluto and Mars are making connections such as this, that it can be an indicator of abuse, or a childhood abuse and that sort of thing, where a person attracts in abuse into their life. It's not that it's abuse per se, it's the fact that you have no control. You do not have control of what other people are doing in your life. You have no control over your own life. When Mars is opposite Saturn, it's kind of burnt out, if you like, of your life. You don't have this. So you might feel this way during this transit on the 13th and 14th, maybe even a little bit before and a little bit after as well. So watch out for people around you being out of control with their anger. Watch out for feeling like you are going out of control and losing your shit without any good reason, and in ways that are quite scary to other people. So be conscious of this, of the way you express this energy. You might also feel like you're going to erupt like a volcano, but you're struggling desperately to keep it squashed down, and it's really painful. Like you might have some situation that's completely unjust and it sends you bonkers. You want to get on Facebook and have a massive big rant because you're so angry about a situation, and you're trying to keep that, you know, controlled facade and keep it together, but that energy of Pluto Mars is really strong. It's almost like you can't fight it. In fact, you can't fight the outer planets. They will have their way regardless of what you try and do. So fighting is futile, but the answer is to direct this energy into something beneficial. Because of this painful feeling like I need to control my frustration, my volatility, and you're not able to. We need to express that in a different way, and I'm going to talk about remedies at the end, so stick around, I'll get there. But if you're feeling that way, you've got to channel it into something more positive, channel it into something more empowering, so that it doesn't come out as abuse to others. That can be verbal abuse, because Mercury is down there as well, involved in all this at a loose level. I'm not going to go into the Mercury component. We're talking about Mars this time, but Mercury is there, so verbally you might be out of control with someone and abusive and violent with your language, with your speaking, but it can also be physical expressions and emotional violence to other people as well. So we've got to channel this into more positive and empowering areas so that we don't suffer detriment in our lives because of this. So just to reiterate the Pluto-Mars thing, we can feel we have no control in a situation. We feel like someone in our life, in our world, is out of control with regard to us, or we can feel like we are getting out of control ourselves. Now, I'm really thankful that this energy of Mars crossing the nodes is occurring before the eclipses. I need to just point out, because he's going to do some triggering, some activation there, which I've just described some of the ways that might come up for us. He's going to do some triggering, and then in July, and I'll talk about this in a future video, we're going to have this powerful eclipses. You'll hear all about it. All the astrologers will be talking about the eclipses in July. But if Mars had moved across the eclipse point after the eclipse had occurred, say a week after the eclipse, 2 weeks, even a month after the eclipse, if that point had been activated by Mars, it would have been like bang, all on again. The energy of the eclipse is repeated again, and in a very energetic and possibly quite volatile Mars type way. So it's a good thing he's moved across there. He is not activating there has been no recent eclipse for Mars to activate at that point. So phew, wipe your brow with relief over that one. But the north node, which is here, and the south node, which is here, they are activating the release of Mars, Neptune, and Saturn. Sorry, did I say Neptune? Mars, Pluto, and Saturn karma. That's what this energy is all about. The nodes connecting with these heavy duty planets. And according to Vedic astrology, Pluto, well, perhaps not Pluto, but Saturn and Mars are two malefic planets. So you'll hear a lot of Vedic astrologers talking at the moment about this conjunction on the 14th being terrible, and really watch out, don't travel anywhere, don't do any, anything, stay at home and lock yourself away because the world's going to end kind of stuff, because these heavy duty malefic planets, and you can include Pluto in that description if you want to as well, are going to be activating some stuff. But I don't align with that. I think we have the capacity to channel the higher energies, the higher octaves of these beautiful planets, and I do consider them to be beautiful. They have lessons to teach us, they have empowerment to give us, and we can channel those components rather than the negativity. It's my belief that everything in the chart, and this comes from my shamanic astrology experience, but it's my belief that every planet, every sign, every house in the chart is like the Chinese yin-yang symbol. There is shadow in everything, and there is light in everything. And it's up to us to focus our energy and our knowledge and our actions in the positive manifestations of the planets, rather than giving in to fear and defeat from thinking about the negative sides of these planets all the time. So as I said, the nodes are releasing the karma of Mars, Saturn, and Pluto, and of course this is to enable a rise for us into a fresh new destiny. So you might find that things come up for you now, particularly in the next week and a half, that feel fated, that feel predestined, like, my God, this was just meant to happen, wasn't it? I am in the right place at the right time. Or they feel familiar, like, you get that shiver down your spine, oh, someone just walked across my grave kind of superstition thing. But it's that familiarity where, like, I've been here before in a dream, I know this. These kinds of things playing out for you in the next week will indicate that you are releasing some karma, that something from the past is bubbling up in your subconscious to the surface, where you become consciously aware of it. Now, you might not know that it's a past life experience that's being brought up, but trust the universe. If you feel something familiar, if something feels predestined, if something feels fated to you, then that is the universe expressing what needs to be released with this energy that's playing out. So you might actually have a bout of anger. Mars is anger, and Pluto I consider to be a planet that correlates very much with rage, the energy of that passion that is almost incontainable. Anger, especially with Mars, anger, Pluto, passion, it's the rage element. So you might have a bout of anger or passion that leaves you wondering, what the hell just happened? Why did I lose my shit over that? that may very well be a karmic release. It could be a triggering of some past life experience that you have had, where, let's say, you were betrayed in some way in a past life, and then some little minor incident occurs at this time in the next week and a half, and it's a little minor incident of betrayal, or like somebody takes the last chocolate biscuit out of the lunchroom fridge, and you know, and you feel like that was my chocolate biscuit, and I feel like I've been done, I've been had, you know, that was for me. It's minor, immaterial, and you lose it over that, and you wonder, why the hell did I lose it over this chocolate biscuit? Far out, where's that coming from? It could be that it has activated in you a past life memory of being betrayed, being, you know, not getting what you deserve, feeling like you've been let down, and all it takes is someone eating your chocolate biscuit out of the lunchroom fridge, and bang, away you go. So watch out for things, situations like that, where you lose your shit and you're left wondering, well, what just happened there? What was wrong with me? It is most likely in the next week and a half, maybe even longer, 2 to 3 weeks, those sorts of incidents might be indicating a karmic bubbling up of some theme that needs to be let go of and released. So allow yourself to feel that way, as long as you're not harming anybody else. Allow yourself to let go and let the release happen. Don't beat yourself up because, oh my God, I just lost my shit over a chocolate biscuit. Now, someone might push your buttons, this is another illustration, in a minor way, and you overreact, like I said. This is that karmic, sorry, I've got the same note twice. This is a karmic memory that's been triggered for you. Hello, I've just given you an illustration about that. So this is a once in a 500 year transit, and anyone who's had a reading with me lately will hear me yabbering on about that. But it is 500 years since Pluto and Saturn have been together in Capricorn. So it's my belief that, you know, there's 6 or 7 billion people on the planet now, more than there's ever been before. It is my belief, align with this if you like, or reject it if you don't like it, but it's my belief that we are souls who've incarnated for this particular energy to play out, so that we can release the karmic crap that holds us back. South Node is release, and North Node is our destiny. So we're here to release whatever karmically from the past has blocked us from moving up the ladder of enlightenment and into our destiny. North Node, South Node energy. We're actually here to release old hierarchies. Now this can be the hierarchies globally, and God, we're seeing a lot of that happening at the moment. There's so much publicity on social media about old outworn ways of thinking and belief structures. Often, like lately, I've been seeing so much connected to the abortion topic in America. There's topics coming up in Australia similarly. We've got Brexit happening or not happening in the UK. Like, we've got all these old hierarchical ways of being that are bubbling up to the surface globally that need to be let go of. And this is also going to happen internally for us as well. Karmic old hierarchies within us that have been there because our souls have experienced repetition in certain areas, and it's like, we're going to let go of this crap if we want to rise up towards our enlightenment. So we might find this anger bubbles up to the surface over a chocolate biscuit, but it's got a far more potent message for us. There might be some old hierarchical structure within us, some belief system, you know, people always rip me off, or I am always getting hard done by, or some mentality that is a, you know, a way of thinking. It might have been also a hierarchical legacy that's come down. Maybe you've got a problem with an authority figure or something that keeps bubbling up and causing you anger and frustration. This is Capricorn energy, and it can be very personal to you right now as well. But we need to realize that these old hierarchies, for example, internally, if you've got issues with family or issues with authority figures or whatever, that's might be a karmic hierarchy that you're dealing with at the moment, that's been there over many lifetimes. That's just one example. But these old hierarchies, they're not going to let go without a fight. And they are, if they are going down, and I hope they are, they are going down fighting and kicking and screaming. So We might be facing a global karmic argy-bargy time of, you know, volatility, a time of aggression, you know, as we try to leave these karmic attitudes and beliefs behind that some people are clinging to for dear life. And we might also be facing an internal karmic battle as well right now within us. So as we, you know, our soul wants to let go of these old hierarchies, but they're so familiar to us. We know what it feels like to always be a people pleaser, and it's just easier to be the people pleaser than to let go of being a people pleaser, this old hierarchy within us, for example. It's easier to keep on being the people pleaser because it's familiar, we know it, we've done it for many, many lifetimes, and our soul's saying, come on, get out of that shit, get out of that people pleasing old hierarchy that you've clung to that might have served you at one point in time, but it's not where it's at now. Now we're being called to let go of it, and sometimes it's not going to come without a bit of an internal battle. So I guess the message here is to be prepared for an internal battle to release karma. But it's our free will is involved here. It is up to us. You know, we can either fight it or we can let it happen. And I'll talk more about that again when I get to the remedy section of this video. But be strong, you know, do the work that I will talk about in the remedies section. Do the remedies. Work with this energy to heal your past. It is a precious once in 500-year opportunity to release the hierarchies within you, to set yourself free. And it's going to take hard work. Saturn is hard work. It's not happening. If it was Uranus involved, it would be happening in the blink of an eye. Bang, it's like rip that band-aid off and away you go. Get on with life. But Saturn draws it out. Saturn makes it a long process. It needs to be a long process to release a long history of karmic hierarchy within you and globally as well. So I just encourage you, make the most of this time and do the work, even if you feel like you're dragging your feet and they feel like lead, you know, about doing the work, you know. Feel the fear or feel the weight and just do it anyway. So what are the remedies? Finally, yay, you all say, we're getting to the remedies. If you feel overwhelmed by emotion, you must release it. When this is the 13th and 14th of June, and a lead up to, and maybe a week or so after, if you feel overwhelmed by emotion, let it come out. So this can be anger, this can be tears, this can be rage, this can be any emotion at all. Cancer's involved. Cancer is our deep emotions, the sort of the psychic, the subconscious emotions that are deep within us. So you must release these now. That's why Mars is there, to help you release them. If you don't, it can cause long-term physical pain or physical damage to your body. You might not see it for a couple of years down the track, but it can manifest as physical problems or depression or anxiety. So how do we get this energy out of us at this time? If you feel something coming up, have that cry in the shower. Go do a kickboxing class and get the aggression and frustration out of you. Do some sort of aggressive dance kind of stuff. Pillow punching is great, you know, or if you're lucky enough to have an actual punching bag, go hell for leather on that too. Exercising vigorously, like jogging every evening if you get the chance, you know, do it if you're so inclined to go jogging. Any type of vigorous exercise gets the emotional gunk out of us, especially if, like, say you're doing some pillow punching and you are I'm just not sure, is pillow punching a bit dodgy a thing to say? I've got something in my head that tells me that it is, so apologies if I've been rude there. But anyhow, you know, you're absolutely whacking the pillow on the bed because you're so angry and frustrated over something that's happened in your life, or the way someone's talked to you, or someone's eaten your last Tim Tam out of the fridge, and you're absolutely going crazy with the pillow and punching it and stuff. That is healthy and vigorous. So take the opportunity to express anger in healthy ways wherever you can over the next couple of weeks. These are all good, all these expressions, because it's a release of the Mars tension in an energetic way. So allow space, allow time, allow yourself to do those sorts of things. Now also, what is really cool, a lot of what I've said might sound a bit heavy and a bit like, oh my God, no, but the universe always provides a way out. There is always release for us. And this particular energy, we are going to see the way out, the release valve, through a beautiful grand water trine, oops, with these planets. Neptune, the moon, making a grand water trine. That is our way out. Now, as you'll see, for those who like to know astrology technical stuff, using my technical words there, the opposition here makes a wedge, what we call a wedge shape. If you want to, the wedge shape would actually look like this. So this is a wedge shape, this energy here, Saturn to Neptune to Mars and back again. And there's also a wedge shape, Saturn to the moon to Mars. Two wedge shapes are occurring. Now, wherever there's a wedge shape in a chart, the way out of the opposition, the release of the energy of the opposition, comes through this planet, the wedge planet, the wedge point planet. So for those who like to work with astrological shapes in the chart. So these guys, the moon and Neptune, thank God they're there. The universe is not leaving us on our own with this crazy, angry, you know, energy. We've got a release. And it's a beautiful release from a super strong outer planet in its own sign right now, and from the loving energy of the moon, the nurturing energy of the moon. So how can we use these guys to give us the release and the, you know, pressure valve opening up and letting that steam off? Well, we can use, well, both these planets are connected to imagination. Use your imagination, right? You know, if you're creative, write an imaginative story or some poetry or something. Get into the creative, imaginative expression. You might, like Neptune's connected with, you know, cosplay, dressing up. Like you might get an opportunity to, hey, dress up as Shira, Princess of Power or something, and go to a cosplay event or something like that. That would actually be, believe it or not, a therapy for this time. Who knew? Going to a fancy dress party, hosting a children's fantasy party. I'll stick with Neptune, then I'll go to the moon. Hosting a children's fantasy party, fancy dress up party. That is actually a release valve for this energy. Playful dressing up, having fun, wearing masks, you know, creating an illusion. So, you know, you might, I used to enjoy going to the swing scene. Swing dances, you'd get dressed up like you just come out of the 1940s, or a rockabilly event, anything where you're creating an illusion and a facade, that is actually a release valve for this energy. So go and do those sorts of things. It's a form of escape. Neptune rules escapes, like Pisces, escape from the ordinary reality, the everyday. So the more you can invest in escapist experiences, like going to a cosplay event or a rockabilly gig, or hosting a children's princess party or something, even going to the movies, that's an escape. Any healthy escape is going to be a release valve for you. Grab a book, a novel off your shelf, and lose yourself for an afternoon with a nice, I mean, it's freezing in Australia at the moment, so cuddling up on the couch with a nice hot chocolate and a book is a delightful thing to do. It's an escape. Now, both the moon, sorry, I'll go to the moon now. Some nurturance is also good, and of course, curling up with a book on the couch and a nice hot chocolate, that's comfort. Hot chocolate is comfort food. It's nurturing, you know, it's giving space for yourself, it's taking care of yourself. Nice soak in a bath would be a beautiful way to nurture yourself, some candles, and it's also an escapist thing. These two connect really beautifully together. So doing anything that provides some sort of nurturance and escapist experience for you is a healthy remedy to deal with this energy. Creative expression, like I said a moment ago, writing poetry, writing a story. These planets are very creative. Any type of creative expression is really, really good. It could be something like, you know, you go out and do some photography. It's beautiful. Like, it's autumn in, well, actually it's just gone winter, but there's still autumn leaves around in Australia. So for, you know, photographing beautiful landscapes with the colorful leaves, or, you know, just anything where you are, you know, doing something creative. Photography, filmmaking, writing, you know, anything imaginative can be very, very cathartic and therapeutic right now as well. Dance, both of these planets are connected with dance, particularly Neptune. And of course, I mentioned a moment ago with Mars doing aggressive dance is very healing. I utilize a cathartic dance therapy system called 5 Rhythms. You can find them on YouTube. It's a great tool to release old karmic energy. It's a great tool at this time to be a release valve for this, because A, it will deal with karmic energy within you, and B, it is aligning with the nature of these 2 planets that are providing the way out of this tense situation. Once again, being around water is a really good idea. Neptune rules the oceans, the moon rules the tides. They're both connected to water, so, and they both are rulers of water signs. So water, 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 water. Go for a swim, go for a walk by water, have a soak in the bath, have a shower. If you're feeling tense and then jump in the shower. Easy solution. Everybody, well, most people have access to sort of water or a bath or a shower or something. There's an antidote to this time. Escaping to a home, so Neptune is escaping, the moon is home, near water is also really, really good idea at this time. So thank you, Lada, for organizing this trip to the Black Sea. Having an escape to somewhere near water, which will be wonderful. So that is a healing energy that we can utilize if you get the chance. You know, it doesn't have to be the ocean. You could go to a river or a lake, you know, even a pond somewhere. There can be healing available to you, or release available to you, by escaping to a place or a home near water. Now, this energy, Neptune is the energy of spirituality and high level spirituality. It's unconditional love, it's divine giving and compassion. So any type of compassionate activities are supported at this time as a release for you. Invest in those things. Invest in prayer, meditation, spiritual practice, and that is going to be really helpful. It's really going to open up the space. And through doing these things, these are not hard things to do. Through doing these things, you're going to make space to let the karmic release happen and bubble up. Like I said, having a cry, you know, that's in the shower, that's doing your water energy. Any of these things are going to be releasing for karma. So that's what, when I'm saying do the work, do the work, do the work, it's not hard. It's easy. It's easy. Just do it. Make space every day, you know, 5 or 10 minutes a day to do one of these things will allow the release to come and flow through you. So do as many of these remedies as you can, and if you can think up any of your own that correlate with ideas of escaping from reality, not drugs, not alcohol preferably, you know, you don't want to cause more harm than good. Stick with the healthy escapist activities. Water, creativity, spirituality, these are really helpful and harmonious. So when I was sharing earlier how scared I got when I thought, oh my God, my chart is horrific for when I travel to Bulgaria, I know this is an escape. I'm going overseas. Neptune, Pisces. So while this energy is playing out, I've got a release valve. I'm going overseas to a place of, you know, water, Black Sea. So there are always ways out in our natal chart and in the transiting chart from heavy duty energies. The trick is learning how to work with these energies well, how to use these energies well for our highest good. So what is the personal influence? Now this is obviously going to be a very long video because I'm talking, and there's so much to share. I could have talked on for another 3 hours about this. There's just so much else going on in the chart too. But let's look at how this is playing out in the signs. So we're looking at a feeling of frustration through some sort of blockage. We're looking at a feeling of not having control or being out of control ourselves, or someone in our vicinity being out of control, or karmic energy bubbling up. So where is this playing out if you're Aries rising? Well, it's playing out in the 10th house and the 4th house. You guys, if you are Aries rising, are experiencing this energy of blockage and no control and out of control with authority figures, Capricorn, or with family. So you might find that someone in your family is blocking you from moving ahead or frustrating your energy, and it's just like, this is insane, I just want to break free. You will, it'll come, it'll ease off when Mars leaves Cancer. So that's, you know, it's not going to be there forever. It's a transit. So there can be frustration from family and from authority figures or bosses. You can get this feeling of blockage or frustration or no control regarding career, regarding home even. It may also play out in realms regarding your emotional life and your social status, how you're seen and how you're recognized in the world. Maybe there's some blockage about how you are perceived in the world, how you are recognized in the world. Maybe you feel like you're out of control with your social status, like everything's happening around you. Like just say you got a divorce and suddenly your reputation is being maligned and you have no control over that situation, and you feel like everything's out of control with your social recognition. That can be one of the ways this energy can play out. So do your best to work with these, like I just described in the remedies section of this video, and you will be able to come through this time, and when Mars leaves, it will ease off a little. We do have eclipses coming up. I'll talk about those in another video, but certainly the Mars energy is not going to be so volatile there after this. So moving around, let's take a look at where we're going to have this energy playing out with Taurus. If you're Taurus rising on these days that I mentioned, you're going to feel frustrated through some sort of blockage, or feel like you're out of control, or that someone in your world is out of control, or you have no control over your life. This is going to be occurring for you guys in the house of benefactors. Like you have no control over the inspirational people in your life, or your ability to be an inspiration to others. This is also can be connected with father relationship with the father. So your father, there might be an energy of like, I'm out of control with my father, or he's out of control with me, or I have no control over what my father is doing. There might be an energy of blockage and restriction there as well. And then you've got the energy down here of Cancer in the 3rd house, which can be siblings, relatives, teammates that you might feel out of control with, no control. Somebody in your world in those realms is out of control. Oh, there's some sort of a blockage. Now, it's also connected to your small businesses, advertising, marketing, and social media. There might be those energies of control and blockage playing out there for you as well in that realm. And also up here, higher learning, imparting wisdom, imparting knowledge, publishing, traveling overseas can be restricted or blocked. Experiencing other cultures, there might be a restriction or blockage for you guys as well of being able to do that. Or you might feel you know, your ability to experience other cultures might be a bit out of control, or maybe the culture that you're involved in, where you live, might be feeling a little bit out of control, because we have cultures from up here, perhaps not as strong as if it was the 4th house. But this energy for Taurus is going to be playing out on those dates, and listen to the remedies that I spoke of in the beginning for how to deal with those situations. If you're feeling out of control with your dad, if you're feeling out of control with relatives or your small business or your ability to learn, or some situation at university or that sort of thing, and if it's feeling like a bit cray cray, then do the remedies and roll through this period knowing that Mars eventually will leave Cancer and the energy will dissipate. So the next sign is Gemini, not Cancer. So Gemini rising is putting this energy in the 8th house and the 2nd house. So for you guys, Gemini rising people, on these dates that I've mentioned in the intro, you'll be feeling some sort of frustration through a blockage or no control, or someone being out of control, or you being out of control regarding 8th house issues and 2nd house issues, finances. So this house is your finances. You might feel out of control with your finances for these days. You might feel frustrated through some sort of blockage to finances through these days. 2nd house is your money, where you your money that you need to support your body and its journey through life. This is your money. This is other people's money. So you might feel out of control with your taxes, or something regarding your superannuation feels a bit out of control, or that you have some blockage regarding some superannuation payout or an insurance payout or something happening. This is where we receive money from others. So this is our money that we earn to support our body's journey through life, and this is money that is coming to us from others. So there can be restrictions and blockages, feeling a bit out of control or a bit ragey even, and frustrated about these sorts of financial situations in the month ahead. Watch my little piece in the beginning of this video, the intro to this video, on remedies, if you want to know how to get a release valve for this sort of energy playing out in your life. Right, Cancer rising. Well, this is obviously happening in the 1st house and the 7th house. So for you guys around the dates that I mentioned, you will be feeling or have the potential to feel frustrated or blocked through something to do with 1st house, 7th house energies. You might feel out of control. You might feel like you have no control, or someone in your world is out of control with you, and this can come from a spouse, a committed life partner, where you feel there's a blockage with a committed life partner, or a business partner. You might feel like you're out of control with your partner. You might feel like they're out of control with you. They're losing it. They're losing their shit with you all the time. That can come through this energy. You might also feel a bit personally, individually out of control with yourself. Like maybe your body's out of control. Maybe I mean, this is the house of the body. The 1st house is the house of the body. So you might feel frustrated through, I've been dieting for ages and exercising, and I just can't shift this weight, and frustrations with the body, blockages with the body. Being out of control with the body, having no control. Now, it's not just the body, but it's your own independence as well. You might feel frustrated with being able to activate your own independence. You might feel frustrated and blocked with your own sense of personal power and sense of self-control in your life, and direction and ability to survive in the way you want to in life. So you may experience frustration and blockage on those days that I mentioned in the intro to this video. Remember, there are remedies. I've talked about those in the intro to this video. If you would like to know about the way out, the release valve for this energy that's playing out on this day. Okay, so the next energy is Leo. Well, this is putting the opposition in the 12th house and the 6th house. So you guys, if you're Leo rising, you will be feeling an energy of frustration and maybe some blockage and no control, or someone in your world is out of control with you, or you are out of control with other people. And this is playing out in the area of our co-workers, 6th house, and people that we are in service to. So you might be feeling like you have no control over the people that you're in service to. I've recently done a little bit of part-time work at a community support group not-for-profit organisation in Australia, and you know, I observe that sometimes people do feel a little bit out of control, even though they're offering service to people. Like, they want to be able to serve, they want to be able to help people, and yet the people who are coming to the counter are a bit out of control. The people you're wanting to help, the people you're wanting to serve, they're frustrated, they're blocked. So this can happen. The people we're wanting to serve, the people we're wanting to support, they feel frustrated, they feel some blockage. So if you're in a sort of that kind of environment, not-for-profit organisation, or you're serving the world in some way, maybe you're at a hospital, maybe hospitals are connected with the 12th house, so this is some of that energy too. Any sort of service role and any compassionate role. This one's service, 6th house is service, this is compassion. If you're in some sort of compassionate organization or a service type organization, you can expect that there'll be people coming into your life who are out of control, feeling out of control. You might feel like you have no control over a situation in one of those realms, or there's a frustrated and blocked energy there if you're Leo rising. Similarly, if you're Leo rising, the energy is falling in the 12th house, and this has to do with it's our spirituality. So we might feel that we are being blocked in our spiritual connection to God. Ordinarily, we feel like our communication just flows, and it's there, and it's happening, and it's wonderful, and then there's some sort of feeling of frustrated, blocked energy that comes into your spiritual life on these days. Like maybe some outer circumstances happen, and your connection with the divine is sort of inhibited or frustrated at that time. You might feel like your spiritual life, you have no control, like things are happening, and spiritually you feel just despondent and feel like frustrated, like, you know, why I've been praying for years, and why are the answers not coming, and you know, this kind of that can bubble up in you. It can be a very karmic bubbling up of frustration and blockage with your spiritual walk. So that can happen, or frustration and blockage with creativity. The 12th house is a very creative house, and Leo is a very creative sign, so you guys might be feeling out of control or frustrated or blocked with your creative expression as well. So that can be happening around the dates that I said. If you would like to know the remedies as solutions for this energy, then I've gone into a little chapter of remedies in the intro to this video. Next we have Virgo energy. Now for Virgo rising, this energy is playing out in the 11th house and the 5th house. So for you guys, you might be feeling on these dates that I mentioned in the intro, feeling frustrated or blocked, maybe that you're feeling out of control, maybe you're feeling you have no control, maybe you're feeling like someone in your environment is out of control and losing their shit. And it's going to correlate with these houses. So your friends, friendships, large groups of people. You might find for Virgo rising, that you're involved in maybe some sort of protest march where people are out of control, you know, or there might be some sort of activism or humanitarian cause, or you're involved in some sort of group activity where there's no control, or where everyone is feeling frustrated and blocked. So there can be group activities, humanitarian causes that are feeling this energy. You might be involved with friendship circles where your friend is losing their crap and ranting and carrying on over nothing, and you're just like, what the hell's going on here? What is this all about? So watch for this energy with friends, friendship groups, large groups of people, and in realms of humanitarian activism. Also for you guys, it's playing out in the 5th house. So your children might be feeling frustrated. They might be feeling very blocked and aggressive and angry because of that. Because keep in mind, little people, they don't know how to deal with these heavy energies. So if you are a mother or a father and you're dealing with children at this time, allow them space to express their feelings, and provide them with the remedies that I talked about in the intro to this video that can help sort of be a pressure valve release for your children. You guys are going to need to watch your kids, that they can navigate this energy with wisdom, and be there for them, support them, provide nurturance for them. Now, that your kids might feel like they're out of control. They might feel like you're out of control with them. So watch out for that as well. Or you might feel like you have no control over your kids and they're running wild and they're going crazy and you're tearing your hair out. Just know this energy will pass when Mars moves on into Leo very soon, thank God. It's not a permanent state of being. This is a temporary transiting energy. And if you would like to know the remedies for how to deal with this, then you can watch the intro to this video where I talk about what the release valve is for this difficult kind of energy. Libra rising, you guys have it falling again, similar to Aries rising, in the 10th house and the 4th house. So the energy is the same for you guys that I spoke of with Aries energy. It's to do with bosses, authority figures, anyone in sort of a position above you. It's to do with frustration and blockage, being out of control, feeling like the authority figures in your life, they're out of control. You might feel like there's just no control whatsoever from the authorities in your life, in your world. So that can play out. It can also mean your social status, something regarding, you know, your social recognition in the world is out of control. You're feeling frustrated through some blockage to your social status and your achievement level. That can be playing out if you're Libra. And also family, home, heritage, lineage, like the mother. You might be feeling like mum's out of control. What is going on here with my mother? There's some energy of blockage with a mother or a matriarchal figure, somebody who's provided nurturance to you in the past. There might be some sort of blockage there. So watch out for that one. Some sort of frustration, or I'm out of control, or my family's out of control with me, they're losing it, they're going crazy, they're acting really bizarre. That can be happening when we've got this energy playing out in the 4th house for you guys as well. But if you would like to know remedies for how to deal with these people and how to, or not how to deal with these people, how to feel your way through this energy so that you can get the best out of it, then I do provide a little talk about remedies in the beginning of the intro to this video. So check that out. If you happen to be Scorpio rising, well, similarly to Taurus rising people, you are going to be feeling this energy most in the 3rd house and the 9th house. So you might be feeling frustrated, you might be feeling like life is blocked for you, like you're out of control, like you have no control, or like somebody in your world, in your realm is out of control, or that you're out of control. And this can happen to do with your siblings or teammates, and relatives as well. So, you know, Auntie May might be losing her marbles with you, and, you know, she's blaming you for, you know, doing something, you know, crazy kind of stuff. But relatives and siblings could be proving to be a real problem for Scorpio rising people around those dates that I mentioned in the intro. Also, your small business, if you run a small business or are aspiring to establish a small business, don't do it around this time. Things can feel very out of control. If you establish a small business on these dates that I said in the intro, you will find that the energy of feeling blocked, not in control, feeling frustrated, that will last for the duration of that business's life. So this is why knowing astrology is really, really helpful for preparing into the future. So yeah, watch out for any issues regarding blockage and frustration and feeling out of control with your small business at this time. Also with advertising, marketing and social media as well, things could go a bit haywire social media wise for you. I mean, what I mean by that is that something on social media might really frustrate the hell out of you, and you might get really you know, feel like there's something happening online or in some sort of communicative capacity in your life where you have no control over the situation. Maybe people are saying things, terrible things about you, and you have no control on social media. That's worst case scenario. Or maybe you just get really fired up about an article you read on social media, and you get really angry about it and have a big rant on Facebook. I'm very good at that. Also, Cancer is your 9th house, and so for Scorpio rising people, you might be very much feeling like you're frustrated and blocked and out of control, or people in your world are out of control with the father. Now, this is, the 9th house is the relationship we have with the father. The 10th house is the life of the father. So the relationship we have with the father is seen here, and your relationship with your father may be a little bit hairy at this time. You might feel like he's losing control, or he's out of control, or maybe you feel like you have no control of your father, that, you know, he's doing some crazy stuff and you're like, this doesn't make sense, and Dad, what are you doing? Or maybe there's some frustration or blockage with your father, so that can crop up. Also, there might be some frustration or blockage or no feelings of not being in control, being out of control with regard to, say, a university course or some cultural experience or the ability to travel. There might be blockage there, and you really want to travel, you want to go do something, but you can't, you're being blocked. This is what might happen around these dates that I mentioned in the intro. And if you want to know how to release this, how to work with this energy, how to allow this energy to flow through you better, then I do provide remedies in the intro to this video. If you're Sagittarius rising, this energy is falling in like it is for Gemini on the 8th house, 2nd house axis. So basically on these dates that I mentioned in the intro, if you're feeling frustrated through some sort of blockage, you feel like you're out of control, or that, you know, everything in your world is out of control, somebody is out of control in your world, it's going to be affecting the money axis of your chart. Now, the 2nd house is the house, this is Capricorn, connected for you Sagittarian rising people with your own resources, the money that you make, what income you get that supports your body's journey through life. That is one area that might feel out of control for you for these few days. You might feel blocked. Maybe you're not making the money you thought you would, or maybe you didn't get paid. There was a glitch with your with your pay going through, and so for some reason your resources for living are blocked and restricted on these days. It can all be rectified once this is all over, but that's one manifestation that may occur. But there's going to be some sort of issues of feeling blocked, feeling out of control, feeling a sense of there is no control here, what's going on with your resources, with the money that you earn. And also it can play out in the 8th house, which is to do with the money you receive from others. So an insurance payment, maybe some sort of a divorce settlement or some taxation issue. Money that you receive can be a big concern on those couple of days. You might feel like something's being blocked, like you were expecting to get a big insurance payment and it's blocked, it hasn't come, and you're frustrated by that because you'd kind of counted on that, and you'd already had the money pinned to go XYZ, you know, to do something with it, and it's not happening, and something's not manifesting in the time frame that you thought it would. So there can be frustration here, there can be blockage, a feeling of not being in control, feeling being out of control. You might find that maybe some tax agent or some, you know, insurance agent or someone that you deal with, some financial counselor, they're a bit out of control with you, and they're actually behaving in ways that are really like, what the hell, you know. So watch out for those sorts of situations. And if you would like to know about how to deal with this energy, how to just let it flow through you so that you don't, I mean, you can't stop people behaving in certain ways. People are, I should have said this in the beginning, but people are on their own soul journey. You have no control over how other people behave. What you do have control over is yourself. And so if you want to know ways to deal with this energy, to cope with this energy, and to ride through it and allow it to just flow through you and keep on going so it doesn't in your head, then I have provided some remedies in the introduction to this video. If you're Capricorn rising, obviously, like for Cancer, this energy is falling in your 1st house, let me fix that up, 1st house and 7th house axis. So you might be feeling, similar to Cancer, the energy of restriction, of blockage, feeling frustrated by some sort of block in your own life. You might feel like you are out of control, like there is no control, like someone in your world is out of control with you, and you're like, what is going on here? And this will be coming from areas of life that connect with partners. Now, this can be marriage partners, it can be business partners, it can be other people just collectively in general that are frustrating you, or they're blocking you from expressing something you want to express, or doing something you want to do. You feel like you have no control over your life. Like everything is out of control with your business partners, with your relationships, with other people. People are just, they don't get you, or they're inhibiting you. And also this is playing out in your first house as well, so that blockage energy can be being felt in your individual expression, your individuality, how you survive. It can be felt in your body. You might be feeling frustrated by your body. You know, I've been dieting for the last 5 months, getting ready for summer, and I haven't lost anything. Frustration, blockage to something you've been trying to do with the body, feeling like you have no control over your body's health, over your body's well-being. You feel like you're out of control with your body. You know, I can't stop eating chocolate. It's my problem. But, you know, you might be feeling frustrated or blocked by that. You might feel like you're out of control, or that somebody in your life is causing a lack of control for you with your individuality, with your self-expression, with your ability to survive and thrive, or with your body even. So this is what we can see in the first house, 7th house axis. And if you would like remedies for how to flow with this energy, I mean, you can't stop people behaving the way that they behave. You know, you can only control what you do. The way out, the way to cope, I've given some remedies in the intro to this video. You might like to check them out if you want to work with this energy as the best you can. Okay, so getting to the end now. Aquarius rising. Beautiful Aquarian people, I love you guys. Aquarius rising puts this energy on the 12th house, 6th house axis. So for you guys, you might be feeling frustrated or blocked in some way, or getting frustrated because of some blockage in your life, or feeling out of control, or like someone in your world is losing their shit with you, or that you are getting out of control yourself, or that there's just everything's gone crazy in your life regarding spirituality, creative self-expression, maybe even the ability to travel. Might be feeling blocked and you're frustrated by that because you want to travel but you can't, something keeps stopping you. Maybe there's a feeling of I'm just out of control with my spiritual group, like that they're just not moving in the direction I want to go in, or like someone in my spiritual group is out of control, or maybe even it might be sort of you wanting to express creatively and there's a blockage to being able to express. I mean, this is the house, 12th house is the house of divine creative expression. And for Aquarius rising people, they're used to being quirky and edgy and thinking on, you know, the left of center, coming up with incredible, you know, alternative ideas and processes. And right now their creative expression in that realm might be feeling blocked and they're frustrated by this. Come on, usually I can think of an answer like that. Or if I'm after an idea for my new creative project, it just comes to me. Why is this being blocked? So on these dates I mentioned in the intro, you can be feeling this playing out in your creativity and your spirituality and in your ability to maybe travel overseas or have a bit of healthy escapism in some way. It's also playing out for you guys in your 6th house, which is service. So if you work in a field that's connected with compassion or service, you know, supporting other people, working for a not-for-profit, places where you are providing solutions for people, fixing things for people, well, you might encounter clients at this time who come in and they lose it. They're out of control, they're going crazy, and you're like, what is going on here? What has been triggered here? This is irrational and ridiculous. You might feel like you're out of control with those sorts of situations. You might feel like there is some blockage and restriction to you being able to actually serve, help, and support people. That they're receiving things wrong, or that there's you can't actually do what you want to do to help people. This is a house of helping and fixing and making things right. It's also the house of health and well-being, so that you might be frustrated by some health condition, some blockage to your well-being or your diet or your ability to, you know, I'm not Aquarius rising, but I'm feeling really frustrated at the moment by the cold weather in Australia because I want to eat healthy and I want to, you know, steer away from the heavy comfort foods and what have you, but the cold weather just has me going back. I'm feeling restricted by the cold weather and my diet. but I'm not Aquarius rising. But that might be one way that plays out for you, because 6th house is connected to diet and well-being. So if you're Aquarius rising, that can be happening for you. If you would like to know some remedies for how to deal with this energy, I do talk about some remedies that are sort of the release valve for this in the beginning intro to this video. And finally, my darling brothers and sisters who are Pisces rising, we have this energy playing out for us in the 11th house, 5th house. So we can be feeling frustrated or blocked, or an energy of like something is being blocked in our life and I'm frustrated by it. We can feel out of control. We can feel like there's people out there who are going crazy, you know, what's going on? Somebody else is out of control, or alternatively, we are out of control. We're just losing our crap, you know, we're getting angry over nothing. This can be playing out in the 11th, or this is playing out for we Pisces rising people in the 11th house and the 5th house. So 11th house is friends. You might feel like there's some kind of dynamic with a friend that is blocked or frustrated right now, that you want to sort of activate the friendship, but it's just not happening. You might feel like you have no control in a certain friendship, like this is on these days that I mentioned in the intro. You might feel like your friends are out of control. They're just losing it with you. They're getting angry at you for no reason. You're like, what? Or a large group of people. You might be involved with a large group of people that's absolutely, you know, going berserk. Might be involved in some sort of protest or get caught up in some sort of activism where people are just, there's no control. That can happen on this day. So anything to do with friends, large groups of people, even humanitarian causes and activism and that sort of thing, political movements can feel very blocked, very frustrated, that there's no control. Or you might be feeling out of control with those sorts of things yourself. Like, you know, maybe there's some type of injustice in some political realm and you just feel like, I'm so out of control with this. Why can't people just get it together and treat each other with respect and, you know, equality and fairness? And that can sort of happen. Obviously, I've felt those experiences from time to time. I know all about that. But so that's one of the energies that can play out, that can be frustrating and blocking and feeling like you're out of control with. Similarly, in the 5th house, children. So we Pisces rising people might feel like there is some sort of blockage or restriction or frustration that's happening with regard to children on this day. We might feel like we're a bit out of control with regards to our kids, or our kids are going crazy. Our kids are out of control. What is with them right now? We might, you know, we need to be really sensitive. Pisces rising also, this is also the case for anyone who's Virgo rising, because the energy is happening in their 5th house as well. We need to be very sensitive of our children on these days. The 13th and 14th is the dates. We need to be very sensitive of our children and support them in finding release valves for this very tense energy. And I talk about the remedies, the release valves, in the intro to this video. So check that out if you would like to know how you can support your children the best way possible throughout this period, these dates that are going to be very volatile. So our children, like I said, they might be feeling frustrated and they might be cranky. They might feel like they're out of control, and we need to be sensitive. These little guys, our kids, they haven't learned to master their emotional life yet. And this is Cancer, intense emotions. This is Mars, kind of angry, very volatile, out of control kind of energy. So we need to support our kids and allow space. If your kids are losing it, don't go all nuts on them. Don't lose control yourself with them. Have a strategy in place to be able to provide remedies for them if they lose their shit around the 13th and 14th of June. So that is all the energies that are playing out right now that we can be feeling. And thank God we have so much to thank the universe for Neptune and the moon, who are providing the support at this time. So that's wonderful. So remember the remedies, apply them in your life. remember that what comes up is likely to be karmic blockages and restrictions that are being called out. So do your best to express your feelings and your emotions, and allow, in the case of Virgo and Pisces rising, allow your children to express their frustrations with the energies of this time as well, in really healthy ways. If we do that, then we will come through this time having channeled the energy at the highest level, and it will serve us for our ultimate good in the long term. So let me close with a prayer. Energy of love, thank you for the support of Neptune. Thank you for the support of the moon in this coming couple of weeks, particularly Neptune. And we thank you that there is a way out, there is a release valve, and we're just so grateful that you always provide a solution to even the toughest energies in the chart. Thank you that Neptune is the energy of unconditional love and compassion, and that we can incorporate those into our life to make the world a better place, not only this in the coming weeks, but always. So we thank you for everything that's unfolding, which will be for our highest good and our ultimate benefit. And so it is. Thank you for joining me. This has been a very fun exploration of what could be one of the most impactful weeks of the year. And I look forward to joining you, hopefully, all being well, next week.